Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the CFG Bank Arena in Baltimore, Maryland, and this is the fallout show from SummerSlam, which SummerSlam was a very good show, in my opinion. Really enjoyed SummerSlam, and going to Monday Night Raw, I was looking forward to it. After the show that we got on Saturday. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought this was a very good show, in my opinion. In my opinion, this is the best Monday Night Raw since Raw after WrestleMania. Because I was there live, at that Raw, after WrestleMania, in Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. We had Lyra Valkryia. She had taken on Shayna Baszler. We had the New Day versus the Authors of Pain. And we had a debut of, someone which I will get to that happened during that match. We had Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, A-Town Down Under, versus AwesomeTruth, The Miz and R-Truth. We had Damian Priest versus JD McDonough. Iyo Sky ended up taking on Sonya Deville. And the main event, we had the in-ring debut of the Wyatt SICKS. So we had Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and also Eric Rowan, ended up taking on Chad Gable and the Creed Brothers. But overall, Monday Night Raw, very good show tonight. Like I said, this was the best Monday Night Raw since the Raw after WrestleMania. But anyway, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with the new World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. So Ludwig Kaiser was in the ring. Ludwig Kaiser returned after come back from injury. So they had a spotlight on Ludwig Kaiser. So Kaiser demanded the crowd there in Baltimore, which the crowd tonight in Baltimore, they were absolutely great throughout the show. They made some noise. They were interested in what was going on throughout the show. Baltimore did great tonight. So Kaiser demanded the crowd in Baltimore, to rise for the new World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General, Gunther. So Gunther ended up coming out. Gunther was shown dressed in a suit, very nice suit that Gunther was wearing. So Gunther made his way to the ring. So the crowd there in Baltimore, they were giving Gunther a mixed reaction. Some people, cheered for Gunther. Some people booed. So the crowd then started to chant, "You deserve it," to Gunther. Gunther got on the mic. He kept saying, "My name is Gunther. I am the Ring General. I am the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history. I am the King of the Ring. And now I am your new World Heavyweight Champion." He kept saying, "Tonight, a new legacy begins." Gunther went on to say that the World Heavyweight Championship and the company have deserved more for a very long time. He kept saying if they thought what he did with the Intercontinental Championship was historic, wait until you see what he does as the World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther went on to say that in this ring, he is above everyone. He kept saying that he is ready and prepared for everyone and everything. Gunther ended up saying that there is nothing that can catch him off guard, and that he is greatness personified. He ended up saying from this day forth, Monday Night Raw and the legacy of this great business and sport, as well as the World Heavyweight Championship, belong to him. And then Randy Orton ended up coming out. The Viper ended up heading down to the ring. So Orton got into the ring, and we had the crowd end up chanting for Orton. Of course, Gunther ended up beating Randy Orton in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, which ended in a controversial finish because Orton's shoulder was up when Gunther ended up pinning him. So that's how, this has come about with Randy Orton coming out there. So Gunther looked at Orton. He ended up saying to Orton, "Well, Randy, I have to say that I was wrong, because that caught me off guard." So Orton ended up saying to Gunther that he wanted to come out and congratulate him, but that's not his style. Orton then ended up saying that the title does look good on Gunther hanging over his shoulder. Orton ended up saying that Gunther is a good-looking champion, but he can't help but think he's the reason Gunther is holding the title in the first place. He ended up saying that Gunther got his title shot at SummerSlam because he ended up beating him at King of the Ring. But Orton was like, "Oh, did Gunther really beat me?" So Orton ended up saying, "The people all know it, he knows it, and even Triple H knows it." Orton ended up saying that his shoulders weren't flat on the mat for the pinfall. But Orton was like, "Well, it was the referee's decision, and it's final." Orton ended up saying that he has to respect that fact. He ended up saying that Triple H saw the footage and knows there needs to be a Gunther versus Orton sequel. He ended up saying that Triple H told the world that there would be a part 2 between the both of them. And Orton ended up saying to Gunther that's exactly why he is out here. Orton ended up saying that he has called it in, and that he is the only man who can match Gunther in the ring, move for move, chop for chop, counter for counter, technician versus technician, smooth versus smoother. So that was what, pretty much Orton had to say to Gunther there. But he ended up continuing saying, these fans deserve a modern-day Flair versus Steamboat. Orton ended up going on to say that he can fulfill those roles. He ended up saying that the only question is if Gunther can. He ended up saying that Gunther calls himself a living legend, which is fine. Orton ended up telling Gunther that he made a career out of killing legends. So Orton ended up saying that at Bash in Berlin, he'll do it again and walk out of Germany the new World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know, Orton. Gunther just won it on Saturday. There's no way that at the end of the month, Gunther is going to be losing that title. So Gunther ended up saying that everything Orton said is true. He ended up saying not being Orton clean at King of the Ring left a stain on his record. Gunther ended up saying that if those voices in Orton's head tell him that he can beat him in Berlin, he has to tell Orton that the voices are wrong. So Gunther ended up saying, Randy Orton, as the crowd was chanting RKO that interrupted Gunther. Gunther ended up saying, I accept. So Gunther extended his hand for Orton to shake it, to which Orton ended up shaking Gunther's hand. Gunther then pulled Orton in close. He ended up saying absolutely nothing catches him off guard. To which Orton ended up telling Gunther, oh, I heard that before. So Orton ended up saying that he doesn't want to hit him with an RKO out of nowhere, and that he wants Gunther to see it coming. So pretty much, that was basically that. But overall, this was a very good segment. Gunther, coming out there and, saying that he's the new World Heavyweight Champion, and that, he says, oh, I am the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history. And now I am your new World Heavyweight Champion. And that the title and the company have deserved this new legacy for a very long time. And without a doubt, I think they're actually going to make Gunther the longest reigning World Heavyweight Champion. I think, hopefully predicting this, they're going to probably surpass Gunther's reign as the Intercontinental Champion by making him, go, more days than he was the Intercontinental Champion. So that's how the way I see it. But we're finally getting Randy Orton versus Gunther Part 2 at Bash in Berlin in Germany on the 31st. So it should be a good match there. But without a doubt, Gunther's walking out of his home country, still the World Heavyweight Champion. And I forgot to mention, this whole first hour of Raw was completely commercial free. I mean, did it really need to be commercial free? No. But, at least, we got, the show, going fast for the first hour. So then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was with Sheamus. Redmond ended up mentioning that Sheamus has a growing list of people who want a piece of him, including Ludwig Kaiser. So Sheamus ended up saying that the human Ken doll has got himself cleared and demanded a match. He ended up saying that he had his sights set on Pete Don't Call Me Butch Dunn after what he did last week. But Sheamus was like, what can you do? He ended up saying all these up-and-coming cats want to make a name off him. So Sheamus was like, bring him on. He ended up saying tonight he'll test out Kaiser's fragile ribs and then put Pete Dunne on the shelf. So Sheamus then asked the crowd in Baltimore if they're ready for a banger, to which the crowd ended up erupting. So pretty much that was basically that. So then we had the first match of the night. Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus. Kaiser returning after his injury. First match, back after, he was injured. And this was a good match here. Kaiser ended up attacking Sheamus at the foot of the ramp as he ended up making his way out, as Sheamus made his way out. Sheamus ended up quickly sending Kaiser into the barricade, but Kaiser ended up quickly fighting back at Sheamus. Kaiser started punching away at Sheamus. Sheamus turned Kaiser around and started punching him down. Sheamus then got Kaiser in the ring, took his shirt off. Sheamus then got into the ring, and both Sheamus and Kaiser ended up bowing to the corner. Sheamus then ended up punching Kaiser down. So the bell ended up ringing. All this happened, before the bell rang. So when the bell rang, Kaiser started punching and uppercutting Sheamus. Sheamus responded with an uppercut that floored Kaiser. Sheamus ended up sending Kaiser into the ropes, but Sheamus lowered his head and he ate a kick from Kaiser. Kaiser then charged Sheamus in the corner, so Sheamus ended up going for a boot to Kaiser. Kaiser blocked the boot. Kaiser then ended up chopping and forearming Sheamus' chest. Sheamus ended up smiling. He turned Kaiser around, and then Sheamus started clubbing away at Kaiser's chest to take him down. And the crowd was very well behind Sheamus tonight. Sheamus then blocked an attack from Kaiser. He started punching away at Kaiser's midsection. He ended up putting Kaiser on his shoulders, and Sheamus delivered a rolling senton to Kaiser. Sheamus then headed to the top rope, but Kaiser rolled out of the ring. Kaiser ended up calling for the referee, and he ended up saying that his ribs are injured. Ref ended up holding Sheamus back, and then Kaiser then blindsided Sheamus with a forearm to his face. So pretty much Kaiser was playing possum, faking the injury. Kaiser then ended up attacking Sheamus against the steel steps. Kaiser then exited on the opposite side and ran around the ring, and he ended up drop kicking Sheamus' head into the ring steps. Kaiser then ended up getting in the ring. He ended up looking to go for a count out. The ref was counting at Sheamus. Sheamus ended up getting back into the ring as the ref counted 9. Kaiser then ended up attacking Sheamus in the corner, and he dug his knee into Sheamus' face. Kaiser ended up kicking Sheamus in his ribs, and he ripped at Sheamus' face. And then he elbowed Sheamus in his head. Sheamus fought back with a right hand to his midsection, but Kaiser ended up cutting Sheamus off with a throat thrust. Kaiser then drop kicked Sheamus down and tackled him into the ropes, falling out of the ring. So Sheamus was hung up on the bottom rope. Kaiser took it to Sheamus, and he started taunting the crowd. Sheamus rolled across the ring and to the apron. Kaiser ended up pulling Sheamus' hair, and he ended up setting up for the 10 beats of the bottom, to which Sheamus quickly blocked it, only after a few shots that Kaiser did to Sheamus. So Sheamus then delivered a short-arm clothesline from the apron to Kaiser. So Kaiser ended up kicking Sheamus' knee out as he got into the ring, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Sheamus kicked out. We had Sheamus end up blocking a slap from Kaiser, and he started punching away at him. So Sheamus then ended up delivering a clothesline to Kaiser. He then ended up hitting a quarter clothesline. Sheamus then ended up delivering the Irish Curse backbreaker to Kaiser. Sheamus then set up for the Celtic Cross, but Kaiser ended up sliding off and slapped Sheamus in the face. Kaiser then elbowed Sheamus to his neck, but Sheamus fought back, and he delivered the white noise on Kaiser. He ended up going for the cover, and Kaiser kicked out. Sheamus then grabbed Kaiser for the 10 beats of the bottom, but Kaiser ended up countering out of that by snapping Sheamus off the top rope. Kaiser then ended up hitting Sheamus with a discus clothesline, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Sheamus kicked out. So we had both Sheamus and Kaiser end up exchanging stiff slaps to the face, and they end up brawling. Sheamus then ended up hitting a short-arm clothesline to Kaiser. Sheamus then sent Kaiser over the top rope, and he had Kaiser on the ring apron. And Sheamus delivered the 10 beats of the bottom to Kaiser. Kaiser ended up falling to ringside. Sheamus went to the top rope, and he flew off the top with a diving clothesline to the floor to Kaiser, which looked great. Sheamus then got Kaiser in the ring, and Pete Dunne was out there. Pete Dunne ended up doing a shillelagh attack, to which Sheamus ended up sidestepping. Sheamus then avoided another attack from Pete Dunne, and he ended up delivering a bicycle knee to Pete Dunne's jaw to lay him out. Sheamus got into the ring. Kaiser floored Sheamus with a step-up enziguri, and he ended up going for the cover, to which Sheamus kicked out. So we had Sheamus end up hitting a bicycle knee to Kaiser's jaw. Sheamus ended up following that up with a bro kick to Kaiser. Sheamus ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Sheamus ended up winning the match. Post-match, Sheamus jumped into the crowd, and he celebrated with the crowd. And Pete Dunne was very unhappy with what just happened. But overall, this was a very good match here. Really enjoyed the wrestling here from both Sheamus and Kaiser. The crowd was behind Sheamus here. And it was a very physical match here. So then we had Damian Priest. Damian Priest ended up calling Finn Balor for what went down at SummerSlam. Because Finn Balor ended up costing Damian Priest the World Heavyweight Championship because Priest was going for the cover, and Balor ended up putting Gunther's foot on the rope, and pretty much that led to, Gunther winning the World Heavyweight Championship, Balor screwing Priest. So Priest then charged to the ring, and he was furious. Priest got on the mic, and he called out Finn Balor, and demanded that Balor to come to the ring to take this beating like a man. So Balor didn't even come out. Priest ended up asking how Balor goes from the prince to a backstabbing scumbag to a coward. He ended up saying for most of his life, he has been on his own until he found the Judgment Day. Priest ended up saying that they gave him a reason to fight and a feeling of belonging. Priest ended up saying that after the premiere of his documentary, which is a WWE 24 documentary, which I'm really glad that WWE 24 is back, with new, documentaries. And I haven't checked out Priest's documentary yet. So he ended up saying after the premiere of his documentary and hearing what he means to people, as well as the people here, he realized his family is a whole lot bigger. So Priest ended up saying that he wants to introduce Balor to his new family. And his new family, he acknowledges the crowd. The crowd is, Priest's family. To which the crowd there in Baltimore ended up giving Priest a huge ovation. Priest ended up saying that he isn't upset that he lost the World Heavyweight Championship because he can win it back. Obviously, that's going to be coming. We're going to get a rematch between Priest and Gunther for the title. Priest ended up saying that he is pissed off because Balor took the title from all of them. He ended up saying, the fans as well. He ended up saying that Balor made him feel like he disappointed his family. He ended up saying for someone like him, he can't let that stand. So Priest ended up telling Balor to listen closely. When he is suffering, Balor should know he is the reason for the pain. So Priest ended up telling Balor to get out here and let the beatings begin. So of course, Balor didn't come out. Balor appeared on the Titantron. So Balor was shown in the dark, and there was a dark purple light on his face. So Balor ended up saying that Priest brought this on himself, and that he didn't betray Priest, and that Priest betrayed the Judgment Day. Balor ended up saying that they were supposed to have each other's backs, no leaders, but that all changed when Priest became the World Heavyweight Champion. Balor ended up saying that Priest went back on his word. He ended up saying a year ago, he almost became the champion. And Balor was like, what was it Priest said in the car to console him? He ended up saying that Priest told him to man up. Balor ended up saying that he waited and waited a full year before manning up. So Priest ended up telling Balor that he's from the streets, but he's just a loser from the streets. Balor ended up saying that he won't fight Priest, but someone who has earned it will. He ended up saying JD McDonough will. So Balor ended up saying that he will wait until Priest feels safe and comfortable, until he's almost forgotten about him. He ended up saying when Priest's back is turned, he will be there to stab Priest in it again and again. And Balor ended up saying that it won't just be him. And all we saw was JD McDonough, Carlito, Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan end up appearing in frame, and that's your new Judgment Day there. So you kick out Priest, kick out Rhea Ripley, and replace it, with, Liv Morgan and, Carlito. To which Carlito was pretty much not officiated with the Judgment Day, so it looks like, now Carlito's a part of the Judgment Day. So Priest was irate, and then he angrily headed to the back. And pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a good segment here with Damian Priest, coming out there, saying how Balor, ended up costing him the match at SummerSlam and demanding Balor to come out there so he could beat him down. And I like that we got the culmination of the new Judgment Day there. And then we had Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce was shown on the phone, and Bronson Reed ended up coming into Pearce's office. Bronson Reed ended up telling Pearce that he is not happy that he didn't get a piece of Sheamus earlier in the night. He ended up telling Pearce that there is always an excuse with him. Bronson Reed ended up saying that if he wants to get to the top, he'll have to create his own path. So then Reed ended up walking off, and that was basically that. But we'll get to what Bronson Reed did later on, which was absolutely great, and I really enjoyed it. And then we had Lyra Valkryia versus Shayna Baszler. And I did not give a shit about this match. I really didn't. So Shayna Baszler was accompanied by Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark. We had the match ended in a disqualification. Lyra Valkryia ended up winning by disqualification because Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark broke up the pin after Lyra ended up hitting the Nightwing on Shayna. So then post-match damage control ended up running down to the ring to make the save for Lyra. So Damage Control ended up brawling with Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville, and Shayna Baszler, and they ended up clearing them from the ring, and pretty much that was basically that. Did I care? No. I know a lot of you probably didn't either. moving on. We had a promo from Karrion Kross. He was backstage with the Final Testament. Kross ended up saying that the Doomsday Clock strikes midnight on Raw. He ended up saying that the Authors of Pain will put an end to a team that has stood the test of time. He wanted to say that for 10 years, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have been pillars in this business, ushering in the power of positivity. To which Kross was like, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Kross ended up laughing. He ended up saying that it is tragic. He wanted to say that the real tragedy is it didn't have to be this way for Xavier Woods. He ended up saying that Kofi carved out his own path and became the man. He ended up saying that Woods is too afraid to become his own man. History will remember Woods as a man standing next to the man. So Kross ended up saying that it's so sad, but it didn't have to be this way for Xavier Woods. Kross ended up saying that he gave Woods many opportunities, more than he's been given. He ended up saying that Woods chose his fate and will stand with Kofi. So Kross ended up saying that he'll share Kofi's fate when we witness the death of the New Day. So say at the Final Testament. So that's what Karrion Kross had to say. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile was backstage, and she was talking with Brutus and Julius Creed, the Creed brothers. Maxine Dupree came up to Ivy Nile, and the Creed brothers end up walking away. Maxine ended up saying to Ivy that she hasn't seen her in weeks, and now she's hanging out with the Creed brothers who have attacked Otis and Akira Tozawa. Ivy Nile ended up telling Maxine that the boys are passionate. So Chad Gable walked up, and he wanted to know what was going on. Gable then ended up cutting Ivy Nile off, and he ended up saying that Maxine has nothing of value to offer. So Chad Gable ended up saying that Maxine can keep the Alpha Academy name, and that he's done with them. He ended up saying that he'll take down the Wyatt SICKS in the main event. Gable then walked off with Ivy Nile, and pretty much that was basically that. So Ivy Nile will be, turn heel and align with Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. That's what's going to happen. Then we had CM Punk. CM Punk ended up coming out, and the crowd erupted when Punk came out. So Punk ended up getting into the ring. He got on the mic. He ended up saying people must be wondering why he's smiling and is so happy. So Punk put over his former teammate, Bilal Muhammad, who won the UFC Welterweight Championship at UFC 304. So Punk ended up doing that. So Punk ended up saying that he would do things that he didn't do. And this is why he's happy. He ended up saying that he lost on Saturday at SummerSlam. He ended up saying he's happy that he hasn't been to Baltimore in over 10 years. He ended up saying that it feeds the ego when he comes out, and 10,000 people are screaming his name at him. So Punk ended up saying losing doesn't make him happy, but SummerSlam wasn't a guarantee. He ended up saying Baltimore on Monday night wasn't a guarantee, and that a lot of people in the crowd love him because every time he gets knocked down, he gets back up. Punk ended up saying that there are people who hate him in the company because he won't stay down. He ended up saying when he says SummerSlam wasn't a guarantee, he was hurt in January, just when he came back and had that monumental return. Punk ended up saying that he was told 9 months. He ended up saying that he was proud of himself for one of the first times in his life. He ended up saying that they said 9 months, and he did it in 5. Punk ended up saying there's a big bad man in Drew McIntyre who hurt him. He ended up saying that happens. But still, he glowed about it and prayed for it, put him on a shirt, and told lies about him. So Punk ended up saying, why is he happy that he lost to Drew McIntyre? He ended up saying that he is back, and SummerSlam was the start. He kept saying people's roads to WrestleMania usually start in January at the Royal Rumble, but his started on Saturday. Punk kept saying that he has worked from the bottom and worked his way all the way to the top. He kept saying, where would he be if it wasn't for the fans? Where would he be if he stayed down the last time he lost a championship? So Punk kept saying that this packed house of beautiful people deserves less of him talking and more of him fighting. Punk kept saying that he wants round 2 with McIntyre. He kept saying that McIntyre said he would put him in the ground, but he's still standing. And then he got interrupted by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins ended up making his way out. He was in a jacket which looked like a cowboy and a motorcycle guy. So Rollins didn't get into the ring. He looked at Punk from the ringside area. Rollins took his jacket off and he looked ready to fight. Rollins then took a mic out of his back pocket. He kept saying, well, you're in a good mood. Well, so am I, because after 10 long years, it is finally time for me to put you in the dirt. Rollins ended up going to get in the ring, but Punk stood in his way. Rollins ended up asking Punk if he's going to let him in the ring. Punk ended up telling Rollins that he didn't dress like a cowboy, but it'll be his huckleberry. So Punk prepared to fight. So then Drew McIntyre ended up shouting at both Rollins and Punk from the crowd. McIntyre ended up asking, what is with all the negativity? He ended up saying tonight is a night of celebration. He ended up saying everyone is talking about the biggest match at SummerSlam when he beat CM Punk and Seth Rollins counted the 1, 2, 3. McIntyre ended up telling Punk to pay attention because he's going to talk about his favorite subject, CM Punk. He ended up saying Punk shocked the world on Saturday and showed he still got it. He ended up saying that Punk is no longer the best in the world. He is. McIntyre ended up saying that Punk and Rollins haven't taken their eyes off each other. McIntyre ended up saying that he knows how to get the attention. McIntyre then held up Punk's bracelet. He ended up saying his stupid dog Larry and his lovely wife AJ Lee are in his corner. So Punk has heard enough from McIntyre. He ended up getting out of the ring. He furiously charged into the crowd to get to McIntyre, but McIntyre ended up running off. So Rollins was still in the ring, watching what just happened. Then Rollins turned around, and Bronson Reed ended up avalanching Rollins. Bronson Reed took it to Rollins. Rollins ended up fighting back. He super kicked Bronson Reed, and then he delivered a big boot to Reed, but Reed didn't go down. Reed then ended up crushing Rollins with a Death Valley drive, and Reed connected with 2 senton splashes to Rollins. So Bronson Reed positioned Rollins. Reed headed to the top rope, and he delivered the tsunami onto Rollins. So Reed wasn't satisfied. He headed back to the top rope. He delivered a second tsunami to Rollins. So Rollins was reeling in pain. Of course, this is a 330-pound guy in Bronson Reed. So officials, trainers, and refs ran down to check on Rollins. Bronson Reed ended up going to walk off, but Reed charged back into the ring. He went back to the top rope, and Reed delivered a third tsunami onto Rollins. And the crowd was loving this. They really were. And I was really enjoying this as well. This was absolutely very good here, this segment. So Bronson Reed headed back to the top rope. He delivered a 4th tsunami. 4 tsunamis already from Bronson Reed to Seth Rollins. So Rollins was shown gasping for air. Of course, like I said, Reed is a 330-pound guy. You know, all that weight crushing onto, your body there. So Reed ended up going back to the top rope again. 5 tsunamis here at this point on Rollins from Bronson Reed. Reed went back to the top rope. The crowd exploded with this, and They were loving it. So Reed ended up not going for a 6th tsunami. He ended up posing. Bronson Reed then stepped on the top rope, and at this point, he delivered that 6th tsunami, which was unbelievable on Rollins. So Reed finally left the ring. Rollins was shown coughing up blood, and he was in rough shape. So all of a sudden, Bronson Reed headed down the ramp, and he went back to the top rope. Reed wanted to do a 7th tsunami, but trainers and officials ended up quickly rolling Rollins to the apron to save him from a 7th tsunami from Bronson Reed, and that was basically that. So Bronson Reed went from mid-card, and tonight he went to the top card after what we saw here. 6 tsunamis to Seth Rollins here, and the crowd just erupted. They were loving the hell out of this, and I can't wait to see this match happen. With Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins. But I guess this was done to take Rollins off of television. Overall, really loved this. This was absolutely good TV here. Everything that Bronson Reed did here was just absolutely great. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Adam Pearce. So Jackie Redmond ended up asking about Seth Rollins' injuries to Pearce. Pearce ended up saying that it's too soon to tell, but there's potential for eternal bleeding. And he ended up saying that Rollins is being taken to the hospital. Yes, they said hospital, not a medical facility. So glad that they got to say hospital, because we all know when Vince's regime was in charge, it was a medical facility. So yeah, glad that we got the saying of hospital on WWE TV. So CM Punk was shown shouting for Drew McIntyre. Pearce ran over to Punk. Pearce ended up saying to Punk that he walked McIntyre out of the arena and that McIntyre is gone. And Punk was not pleased about that. So pretty much that was basically that. But I got to give it to hand. I forgot to mention, I got to give it to hand to Michael Cole for selling his commentary through that Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed, segment. Just, he was going like ballistic. He was like, Adam Pearce, where are you? Get out here. Got to give it to Michael Cole. And then we had the Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor versus The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. Authors of Pain, of course, were accompanied by Karrion Kross, Paul Ellering, and Scarlett. And this was a decent match here. So Kofi started the match against Akam. Kofi ended up charging Akam and started punching away at him in the corner. Akam ended up sending Kofi to the opposite corner, but Kofi springboarded off the ropes with an axe handle. Kofi then hit the ropes. He ducked the clothesline from Akam, and he ended up avoiding offense from Razor. Kofi ended up super kicking Razor, and then he turned into a spine buster, which looked nasty, from Akam. Razor then tagged in. He started punching away at Kofi, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial, which they did the picture-in-picture tonight, so we got to see what was happening as the show was on commercial break. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Akam ended up clubbing Kofi. He ended up putting Kofi on the top rope and started punching him. Kofi then started punching Akam back, and he dived off with a tornado DDT. Xavier Woods and Razor ended up tagging in. Woods ended up ducking a pair of clotheslines from Razor, and he slid through Razor's legs, and then he hit a discus forearm to Razor's jaw. Woods ended up punching away at Razor until he was pushed off. You had later on Woods ended up pulling the top rope down to get Akam out of the ring. Kofi stood on the top rope, and he had pinned Akam with a trust fall. And Kofi ended up wiping out in a huge way. That looked absolutely fucking brutal. So as the ref checked on Kofi, Cross ended up knocking Woods off the top rope. And all of a sudden, we saw Odyssey Jones. You all might say, who? Who was Odyssey Jones? Odyssey Jones, he was in NXT. He got drafted to Monday Night Raw in this year's draft. WWE didn't use him because they had nothing planned for him. So we saw Odyssey Jones end up coming down the ramp, and he attacked Karrion Kross. He ended up sending Kross into the ring apron and sent Kross into the crowd. Woods ended up rolling Razor up, and there you go. The New Day ended up winning the match. Post-match, Akam and Razor ended up double-teaming on Xavier Woods. Odyssey Jones got into the ring, and he ran over both Akam and Razor. And he ended up avalanching both Akam and Razor in the corner. Odyssey Jones then ended up lifting both Akam and Razor and dropped them with sidewalk slams, which was crazy. Kross then got into the ring. He ended up rocking Odyssey Jones with a forearm. Kross then hit the ropes, but Jones ended up flattening Kross with a slam. And Jones ended up celebrating with the New Day in the ring. And pretty much that was basically that. But overall, this was a decent tag team match with the New Day and the Authors of Pain. And Odyssey Jones, he's going to be the new member for, the New Day. The New Day end up needing another guy to replace Big E. And Odyssey Jones is that guy. But from this, we could tell that Big E's career is possibly over. And that Big E is not going to return anytime soon. So the New Day ended up needing a third guy. And that third guy was, of course, Odyssey Jones. And then we had JD McDonough. A promo from JD McDonough. He ended up saying that his favorite part of SummerSlam was watching Damian Priest's face when Finn Balor betrayed him. He ended up saying that Priest didn't realize that he was only champion because the Judgment Day allowed it. McDonough ended up saying that he sacrificed his body to keep Priest on top. He ended up saying that Priest never wanted him in the Judgment Day because he knew that he was the only person on this planet that Balor listened to above him. McDonough ended up saying that he has his revenge because Priest is out of the Judgment Day and he is in. McDonough then wanted to say that he is a champion and Priest has nothing. He ended up saying tonight Priest will rise for the Judgment Day. And pretty much that was basically what McDonough had to say. And then we had the New Day. New Day was celebrating with Odyssey Jones. Jones ended up saying to Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston that he was honored to help out the New Day. So Kofi ended up introducing Jones to Xavier Woods. Woods was looking a little taken aback because he didn't know that Odyssey Jones was going to come out. So Jones ended up saying that he spoke with Kofi about their problems with the Final Testament. So Otis, Maxine Dupree, and Akira Tozawa end up showing up to celebrate. Tozawa ended up doing his dance, and that was basically that. But like I said, it looks like Odyssey Jones is going to be the third member of the New Day. And then we had Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, A-Town Down Under, versus AwesomeTruth, The Miz and R-Truth. And this was just a very meh match here. Didn't even care for it. Truth started off against Austin Theory. Truth ended up putting Theory in a side headlock. Grayson Waller tagged in, but Truth ended up giving Waller a back body drop. He ended up sending both Theory and Waller flying with a double head scissor takeover. So Miz and R-Truth ended up dominating on both Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, knocking them out of the ring. And then Monday Night Raw with the commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, R-Truth ended up grabbing the bottom rope to break up a pin from Grayson Waller. Theory ended up tagging in, and Theory and Waller ended up going for a double drop kick, but R-Truth ended up avoiding that. Theory quickly ended up taking R-Truth down, but Truth ended up getting in the way. Miz came in. He ended up hitting Theory and Waller with clotheslines. Miz ended up ducking a double clothesline from Theory and Waller, and he ended up hitting the both of them with a double flapjack. So Miz started up with kicks to Waller and Theory. Of course, the It kicks. Miz followed up with a double basement drop kick to Waller and Theory. He then hit Waller with a baseball slide, and then he hit Theory with a plancha. And the crowd was going wild here, for the Miz. So we had the Miz end up going for a Skull Crusher finale, but Theory ended up getting out of it. Miz ended up kicking away at Theory and backed up to hit his patented corner clothesline. Miz then ended up hitting a cross body block, and he ended up going for the cover, but Truth ended up blind tagging in. Miz couldn't believe it. So R-Truth ended up grabbing Waller, who wasn't the legal man, for an AA. So Truth ended up spinning around with Waller. Waller's legs ended up hitting Miz in the head, and it took Miz out. Truth ended up hitting the AA. Theory then ended up hitting Truth with the A-Town down, and Theory ended up going for the cover, and there you go. A-Town down under. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory ended up winning the match. Post-match, The Miz was not happy about what went down. He ended up asking Truth what he was thinking, because he ended up just blind tagging him in. And pretty much that was basically that. So it looks like we're going to get a breakup with The Miz and R-Truth. And then we had a promo from Damian Priest. Damian Priest ended up saying that the beating JD McDonough is going to receive is a long time coming. He ended up saying that he didn't want McDonough in the Judgment Day, and no one did, except the one guy he thought was his brother, until Saturday. He ended up saying with such a big head, McDonough is too stupid to realize he's already been betrayed. He ended up saying Finn Balor is giving him to Priest to fire the first bullet. Priest ended up saying that he hopes McDonough confessed his sins yesterday, because he's taken his big-headed ass out. And so that was what Damian Priest had to say. And then we had Kathy Kelly. Kathy Kelly was backstage with the new Intercontinental Champion, Bron Breakker. She ended up asking Bron if he is ready for the onslaught of superstars coming after him. Breakker ended up saying that it's taken him less than 3 years to become the new Intercontinental Champion. He ended up saying that he is the hunter and the locker room is the hunted. Breakker ended up saying what idiot thinks they have the courage to take this from him. And Breakker ended up saying that he feels sorry for them. And Breakker ended up saying that this championship was born for him. He ended up showing off his nameplate on the championship. He ended up saying that his name bolted onto his championship. He ended up saying that there isn't a man on the planet that can take his name off his Intercontinental Championship. And so then we heard the crowd end up barking. They're all behind for Bron Breakker. And pretty much that was basically that. But I really do hope that Bron Breakker has a long reign as Intercontinental Champion. When you look at the guy, he is championship material. And then we had JD McDonough versus Damian Priest. And this was a good match here. McDonough was accompanied by Carlito. Matchup getting in the way. Priest ended up going after McDonough. McDonough ended up ducking, and he slapped Priest in the face, which just angered him. McDonough then chopped away at Priest, but Priest didn't even sell it. It did nothing to him. Priest then ended up big booting McDonough in his head. Priest then started punching away at McDonough in the corner and started stomping him down. Priest then ended up whipping McDonough into the corner, and he had pinned a flapjack. Priest then viciously forearmed McDonough in the mouth. He then whipped McDonough into the ropes, but Priest lowered his head, and he ate a kick from McDonough. Priest ended up standing up, and he punched McDonough in the face. So we have Priest end up getting the crowd going. He ended up going for an avalanche, but McDonough ended up avoiding it. McDonough started shouldering away at Priest's midsection, and he forearmed Priest down. McDonough ended up hitting a basement dropkick in the corner to Priest. McDonough then ended up stomping Priest's hand, and he ended up slapping him a few times. Priest started fighting back, but McDonough ended up kneeing Priest in his face and started clubbing him down. We had Priest end up looking over at Carlito because Carlito walked away. Carlito was trying to get involved, but Priest ended up trying to get to Carlito, but Carlito avoided him. Priest then lifted McDonough and teased throwing McDonough into Carlito. Priest ended up going to lawn dart Priest into the ring post, but McDonough slid off, and he ended up sending Priest into the ring post. McDonough then ended up hitting a suicide dive, and he ended up hitting the back of Priest's head off the corner of the table, which that looked crazy. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Priest ended up breaking McDonough's grip, and he boxed McDonough's ears. Priest ended up going for the South of Heaven, but McDonough flipped through, and he headbutted Priest. McDonough went for the top rope, and he ended up hitting a moonsault, which looked good. So McDonough ended up going for the cover, and Priest kicked out. So we had Priest end up getting McDonough into the ring later on. He ended up turning McDonough inside out with a clothesline. Carlito got on the apron. He ended up eating a kick from Priest. Priest ended up pulling his straps down, and he was signaling for the end of the match. But Finn Balor ended up attacking Priest from behind. So Damian Priest won the match by disqualification. And then Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan ended up coming out to the ring. So the New Judgment Day were all out there post-match. So Balor, Carlito, and Dominic ended up triple teaming on Priest. Balor then whipped McDonough into Priest, but Priest ended up giving him a back body drop over the top rope. Priest then fought off both Dominic and Carlito. He ended up being left in the ring with Balor. Balor ended up trying to escape, but Priest grabbed Balor, and he ended up going for a Razor's Edge. But Liv Morgan ended up pulling Balor off. Liv Morgan stood in Priest's way, which led to Dominic attacking Priest from behind, and he started stomping away at Priest. And then we had Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley ran down to the ring to make the save. Liv Morgan and Dominic ended up running out of the ring, and Rhea Ripley ended up catching Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley ended up sending Liv Morgan twice into the ring post. Rhea Ripley then cleared the commentary table. She ended up going for a Razor's Edge on Liv Morgan, but Dominic pulled Liv Morgan out of the way, and both Dominic and Liv ended up running off. So Rhea Ripley then got into the ring, and she delivered a headbutt to McDonough. Priest then ended up laying out McDonough with the South of Heaven. Priest and Rhea Ripley ended up standing tall, and both Priest and Ripley ended up hugging, and pretty much that was basically that. So you got the two huge baby faces, formerly from the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, in the ring there. And, it looks like maybe, Rhea Ripley might, accompany Damian Priest out there. Damian Priest might accompany Rhea Ripley. So that's how the way I see it. Hopefully that's the case. Because I like to see, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, together, accompanying, one of them. But overall, this was a very good match from Damian Priest and JD McDonough. And then we had Damage Control. Damage Control was walking backstage. And we saw Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark end up attacking Damage Control from behind. So Deville, Baszler, and Stark end up taking out Iyo Sky and Kairi Sane. And then they end up attacking Dakota Kai's knee. So Dakota Kai ended up grabbing her knee in pain. And pretty much that was basically that. So then we had Sonya Deville versus Iyo Sky. And originally this was supposed to be Sonya Deville versus Dakota Kai, but of course, what we saw, when Damage Control was being down by Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, they end up being down on Dakota Kai's knee, which, that led to Dakota Kai not competing in this match here with Sonya Deville. So Sonya Deville ended up getting on the mic. She kept sarcastically saying that it's so sad that we won't see Dakota Kai tonight. And that led to Iyo Sky's music end up hitting. Iyo Sky came out. She was accompanied by Kairi Sane. And surprisingly, this was a decent match here. So Sonya Deville quickly took Iyo Sky down. Iyo Sky ended up avoiding Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville ended up kneeing away at Iyo's midsection, but Iyo ended up reversing the whip and a hesitant takeover to Sonya. Iyo ended up hitting Zoe Stark with a baseball slide, which looked very sloppy. Such a sloppy baseball slide delivered by Iyo. And then Iyo ended up attacking Shayna Baszler. Sonya Deville ended up sending Iyo into the ring steps, and then Monday Night Raw into commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Sonya Deville ended up putting Iyo Sky in the ring, and she ended up going for the cover, to which Iyo ended up kicking out. Sonya Deville ended up kicking away at Iyo in the corner, and she ended up slinging Iyo around by her hair. Iyo ended up fighting back at Sonya Deville and rolled Sonya up, to which she ended up kicking out. Sonya then blocked the kick from Iyo, and she ended up kneeing Iyo in the face. Iyo then ended up sending Sonya Deville shoulder first into the ring post. Iyo then blocked the kick from Sonya, and then she ended up hitting the dragon screw. So Iyo ended up hitting the shoulder tackle and an uppercut to Sonya, which was followed by a drop kick. Iyo then ended up hitting a running elbow in the corner. Iyo ended up going to the top rope and delivered a missile drop kick to Sonya, to which she ended up going for the cover, and Sonya ended up kicking out. So Iyo connected with a bullet train, the running double knees in the corner to Sonya. So Iyo ended up going for the cover. Zoe Stark ended up putting Sonya's foot on the bottom rope. So Kairi Sane ended up clubbing Zoe Stark in the face. Iyo Sky ended up getting out the Devil's Advocate from Sonya. Kairi Sane and Iyo Sky stood on the top turnbuckle. They were both on the same top turnbuckle. So Kairi Sane ended up going one way with a moonsault block to the floor on both Baszler and Sonya Deville. And Iyo ended up going the other way with an insane elbow to Zoe Stark, which that was great there. So Iyo ended up getting Deville in the ring. She headed to the top rope. Iyo delivered the over the moonsault on Sonya. She ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Iyo Sky ended up winning the match. Overall, surprisingly, this was a decent match in my opinion. It wasn't bad, though. And then we had Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov was talking to Sami Zayn backstage. He was telling Sami that he was a great champion. Sami Zayn ended up saying that Dragunov will be a great champion. So Dragunov then walked off, and Jey Uso, Mr. Yeet, ended up walking up to Sami Zayn, and he tried to cheer him up. Jey ended up saying that Sami has been here before, and that he'll get a rematch and get that Intercontinental Championship back. Sami Zayn ended up saying that he has the rematch for next week. Jey Uso ended up saying that they can handle business against the Judgment Day together, and Sami Zayn can be a double champion. So pretty much that was basically that. So again, the rematch next week, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn getting his rematch. So then Michael Cole ended up giving us an update on Seth Rollins. He was telling us that Rollins is at a hospital and that he is getting a CAT scan and an endoscopy. So pretty much that was the update. And then we had a promo from the Wyatt SICKS. We had one VHS promo that was shown earlier, which I forgot to mention, and another one was shown, and it was shown of the man who thinks he is Huskus the Pig Boy, and it was Joe Gacy. Joe Gacy was rocking. Uncle Howdy's voice ended up saying, "They thought they could control you. They locked you away. But I saw through their lies. They will all pay for their sins." So pretty much, that was basically that. And then we saw Chad Gable. He was walking backstage with the Creeds. Chad Gable ended up saying that they attacked him because his pathetic family left him high and dry. Of course, he was talking about the Wyatt SICKS. Chad Gable ended up saying now he has a new family. He ended up saying with the Creeds by his side, they're sending them back to whatever freak show or swamp they came from. He ended up saying that the Y6 haven't seen anything like them, and that they are American-made. So both Chad Gable and the Creed brothers ended up going through the gorilla position, and they made their way out. So then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we're going to see what we're going to be seeing next week on Raw, where we're getting Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. It's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls match, which is, pretty good. But obviously, Braun Breaker is going to be winning that match and retaining the title. No way that Braun Breaker is losing that title next week after he won it on Saturday. And then we're getting Damage Control versus Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. #1 contenders match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Do you all care? No. I don't even care either. So that's what we're going to see next week on Monday Night Raw. Main event. Chad Gable and the Creed brothers versus the Wyatt Six. Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. Of course, they were accompanied by Uncle Howdy and Abby the Witch, Nikki Cross. And this was a very good match here. This was a great in-ring debut for the Wyatt Six. And the entrance that they got was awesome, where you had the lantern there. And then they all made their way out. And Uncle Howdy took the lantern, almost, resembled, Bray Wyatt and, the Wyatt family. So you had Uncle Howdy end up sitting in a chair, just like, Bray Wyatt, which I thought that was a very nice, tribute there to Bray, because, when, Bray had the Wyatt family gimmick, he would always sit in the chair and then just watch the match, watch his guys do what they had to do in the ring. But I thought that was, pretty good. And then you had Abby the Witch, Nikki Cross, next to Uncle Howdy there while the match was going on. So Chad Gable started off the match against Dexter Lumis, which Dexter Lumis, looks, very good. I like the dreads that he has. This is a good showcasing of Dexter Lumis here. So Gable ended up running away. He tagged in Julius Creed. Lumis ended up hitting a back elbow to Julius, and then he followed up with a slam. Lumis ended up hitting the ropes. He ended up hitting a pair of forearms to Julius, which was followed up by a leg drop. Joe Gacy ended up tagging in, and Julius ended up sending Joe Gacy into the corner. Joe Gacy ended up doing a handstand, which that was, another tribute to Bray Wyatt there, when Bray Wyatt used to hang from, the corner, and his head would be upside down. That was awesome. Nice tribute there. Joe Gacy ended up grabbing Julius, ended up pinning an overhead belly-to-belly suplex on Julius. Lumis then tagged in. Both Gacy and Lumis ended up pinning a back suplex neckbreaker combo on Brutus as he ended up running in. Julius then ended up sending Lumis into the ropes. Gable ended up pulling Lumis down by his hair. Gable then tagged in. The Creed brothers then attacked both Eric Rowan and Joe Gacy, and a brawl was breaking out with the Wyatt Six and Chad Gable and the Creed brothers. Rowan ended up lifting Gable, and he used him to take Brutus down. Rowan then slammed Gable onto Julius. Joe Gacy then ended up crushing Gable and Julius with a senton splash. Gacy ended up putting Lumis on Rowan's shoulders, and Rowan ended up powerbombing him over the top rope onto, Chad Gable and the Creed brothers, which that was cool. So the Wyatt Six were on fire, in this match here, which they needed to be. So as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Brutus ended up hitting Joe Gacy with a standing moonsault. Julius ended up hitting a second rope moonsault. Gable then tagged in. He ended up hitting a top rope moonsault onto Joe Gacy, and Gable ended up going for the cover. Lumis broke up the pin. The Creeds ended up taking care of Lumis and sent him shoulder first to the ring post. Brutus then tagged in, as did Julius, and the Creed brothers end up sending Joe Gacy into the ropes. Gacy ended up countering with a handspring double clothesline, taking out the Creeds. Rowan then tagged in. He ended up running over, Gable and the Creed brothers. Gable ended up eating a spin kick from Rowan. Rowan then clotheslined both of the Creed brothers, and he had pinned a back body drop on Gable. Rowan ended up taking Gable out with a baseball slide at ringside and slammed him face first into the barricade. And I really liked how Rowan ended up paying homage to, Brody Lee, and he did a slingshot rolling senton. That was cool. Rowan then ended up crushing Gable with a power slam, and we had Rowan ended up going for the cover. The Creeds broke up the pin. So later on, we had Loomis end up coming off the top rope to take the Creed brothers out, which was cool. So at the end of the match, we had the Creed brothers end up going to blindside both Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy, but Loomis and Gacy end up hitting the Creeds with double Uranagis on the commentary table. Gable then turned into an Iron Claw slam from Rowan. Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis end up tagging in. Gacy ended up powerbombing Loomis onto Gable. Loomis headed to the top rope and delivered a big splash onto Gable. So he went for the cover, and there you go. The Wyatt Six ended up winning their in-ring debut match on Monday Night Raw tonight. Post-match, the Wyatt Six were all in the ring, and they posed, and Uncle Howdy ended up shouting, "We're here." And that was how Monday Night Raw went off the air. But overall, this was a great showcasing of the Wyatt Six's in-ring debut. Bray would have been proud of this, and this is going to be great with the Wyatt Six as it progresses with them. So, but good showcasing from them tonight. But overall, Monday Night Raw, this was a very good show tonight, coming off of SummerSlam, and the show delivered. But anyway, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoy this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. So, see you then.